So people are blocking and unfollowing celebrities by the thousands. I believe as of right now, Kim Kardashian has lost 3 million followers, and I personally am here for this movement that people are calling Blackout 2024. And it is simply blocking celebrities or unfollowing them to lessen their influence on us, essentially. I wanted to make a video about celebrity culture and how worshiping celebrities is so honestly gross to me. It's something I've never understood. And I grew up in the era where, you know, Kim Kardashian got famous for her sex tape. Paris Hilton got famous for being hot, I guess. I don't know why y'all made her famous. The Jersey Shore crew got famous for being idiots on the Jersey Shore. I mean, it sounds harsh, but facts. The Jackass guys got famous for, well, being jackasses. So I grew up in that era. I'm an elder millennial. I'm in my, mid-30s, and I grew up in that era where people were already starting to go viral or become famous for very, very stupid reasons. And if I sound harsh in this video, on the one hand, I'm sorry, but on the other hand, I'm not, because I feel like we as a society need to have a serious conversation about this. And I am glad, like I said, that this project Blackout 2024 is happening. I feel like it sounds like an exaggeration, but I feel like I've honestly been waiting for this moment for so long, this moment where all of us as a society just kind of collectively wake up together and realize that worshiping celebrities like they are actual deities is disgusting and gross, because they are people just like us. They just happen to be more beautiful. They happen to be talented, depending on how you define talent. They happen to be better connected than us. They happen to have more opportunities and privilege than us, average citizens. And that's about it. And it blows my mind why people are becoming famous, especially for nothing. Literally nothing. And the people who deserve to be famous, the people who deserve clout and attention and followers based on the good that they do in this world, based on the way that they are impacting their community positively, are not getting nearly enough attention. And that's why I think it is gross. I think it is gross that someone like Lizzo, for example, and I know this is going to be controversial because we all loved Lizzo at one point because she was impacting society in a positive way by sharing her experience as a, plus size woman of color. She, spread her message of self-love and body positivity, and that was really refreshing at the time because our society was still kind of coming out of the cosmopolitan era where, women were supposed to be rail thin and airbrushed to the gods and perfectly hair done, makeup done, nails done, everything perfect. Size 2, size 4 was the size you needed to be. And I grew up in that era too. And so it was really refreshing for me to see, wow, more and more women are speaking out and showing their bodies, and their bodies look like average, everyday, normal bodies like my own. And as a woman, I found that really refreshing and validating. And so I found Lizzo's contribution to society really, really impactful at one point in time. But sadly, that time has come and gone because she has just become like every other celebrity that's all about the money. I feel like every other day on her Instagram, when I used to follow her, she was just posting about oh, I'm on this trip, or oh, I'm invited to this party, or oh, look at my new diamond necklace, or oh, look at my new clothing launch. And it was all just so materialistic, and her message of body positivity and self-love and everything else that I once found value in kind of fell by the wayside. And I know it might seem dystopian that I'm doing my makeup while talking about celebrities, but I'm actually getting ready to film a longer video about influencers exploiting their children. So I have a lot of positive content for you on my channel over here. I don't know what to tell you. Speaking of, before I go any further, I just want to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me or haven't seen my content on YouTube before. My name is Nicole, and I make content from a progressive Christian perspective. And that's why I wanted to have this chat with y'all about celebrity culture and celebrity worship, because I don't see enough of my fellow Christians talking about it. And I think as Christians, we especially need to talk about it, because we know as Christians that the only thing we should worship in this world is God. And that's why I also think it's gross that a lot of Christians also worship celebrities to the degree that, like, God should be worshipped, if that makes sense. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine, that's cool, you're still welcome to be here, you're still welcome to be a part of my club. I'm just talking about things from my Christian worldview. I'm not trying to like shove it down your throat or convert you or change you. I'm just talking about it from my lens, if that makes sense. So I feel like a lot of my fellow Christians that I see here, Christian influencers that have really, really big platforms, are not talking about important topics like celebrity worship. Instead, they'll get on and say things like, oh, Taylor Swift had a whole like Eras tour. I don't even know about that. Oh, Taylor Swift is dating some football player. Like, who cares? I mean, on the one hand, you know, it's fine to be out of the loop, and it's fine to obviously not follow every single move that Taylor Swift makes or keep up with who she's dating this month. That's totally fine. But I think a lot of Christians try to use that whole like, I'm out of the loop, I'm off the grid, I don't know what's going on in the world, to kind of absolve themselves from speaking on really important topics, if that makes sense. So yeah, on the one hand, again, kudos to you if you don't keep up with celebrity culture and if you kind of live off the grid. But I think you also just can't like bury your head in the sand and not keep up with what's going on in the world, because as Christians, we are called to be agents of change in this world. The Bible says that people will know that we are disciples of Christ by our love. So I think as Christians, we're called to still engage with people, obviously, and we're still called to be a part of the world. And so I don't think it bodes well for Christians when you just kind of try to pull that whole like, oh, I'm not concerned about what's happening in society because I know that God will take care of things in the end. It's like, no, you still need to care for the plight of your brothers and sisters around you. So anyway, that's why I make the content that I make and why I have a lot to say on this topic, because again, I feel like I'm not seeing enough Christians kind of address this whole era of celebrity worship that we have been living in far too long. So back to my main point, I'm glad that this whole, Blackout 2024 project is happening. And if you, again, aren't sure what that means or how that got started, from what I can see, I mean, the internet moves fast, as we all know, and it can be easy to get behind on like the lore. But from what I saw, a really popular content creator who, again, I don't understand why her content went viral. I mean, I get it, she's stunningly beautiful, and that's probably why her content went viral. But her name is haleyybaylee, or that's her username on social media. I'm sure most of y'all know who I'm talking about, but just in case you don't, here's her profile and the kind of content that she makes. I'll just insert a little snippet so you can get a taste for who I'm talking about.
What do you want to do tonight? I don't care. Let's just go get food or something. Oh my God, she texted me. What do you want to do tonight? Anything, whatever you... No. See, that's too desperate. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. See, no, then she'll think that you don't care.
So one thing that people have really applauded Hailey for, and something I would see in her comment section over and over again, is how relatable she is, right? People be like, oh my god, you're so relatable, because she'd make these funny videos about experiences that we all kind of share as humans. I think that's part of why Hailey's content went viral is, again, one, obviously she's stunningly beautiful. She's like a modern day Cindy Crawford. But she also, again, got a lot of kudos for being so relatable. But this girl is not relatable, y'all. She, again, has pretty privilege from being so beautiful. And she lives in like an entire penthouse suite. Her apartment that she shows you in her TikTok videos is literally an entire floor in like central New York City. That is crazy expensive. I think I heard somewhere that she spends like $20,000 a month on rent. That is obscene to me. When I had a normal 9-to-5 job, that was literally half a year's worth. And yeah, it always made me laugh whenever I would just see her comment section full of people saying like, you're so relatable. I'm like, yeah, this like stunningly beautiful woman that has 6 million followers on YouTube, 10 million followers on TikTok, has connections to celebrities, has been invited to fashion shows, Fashion Week, who was recently invited to the Met Gala, which is what landed her in hot water, who, again, can easily drop $20,000 a month on her rent for her huge penthouse suite in, like, downtown Manhattan or wherever the heck she lives in New York City. That's not relatable, y'all. So I never understood why she got so many comments from people being like, oh, you're so relatable. Like, there are so many other smaller content creators that make the same kind of content that she does, the kind of comedy content or whatever you want to call it, that are far more relatable because they actually still work a normal 9-to-5. That's the thing too. She doesn't work a normal 9-to-5 job. She's a content creator. That's her full-time job. So she doesn't have a full-time job. She doesn't have a 9-to-5 grind. She drops $20,000 a month on her rent. She is a 10 out of 10, drop dead gorgeous, which again, I know she can't help that, right? She just has good genes, but still, she has pretty privilege on top of influencer privilege, on top of wealthy person privilege, rich privilege. And yet people want to call her relatable. So I'm glad that people are waking up and seeing that she is not quite as relatable as she made herself out to be. And like I hinted at, the thing that landed her in hot water was the fact that she was invited to the Met Gala, and she wasn't invited by Anna Wintour. She made an apology video where she kind of cleared up her presence at the Met Gala and clarified that she was not invited by Anna Wintour, who is the, chief of Vogue, editor-in-chief of Vogue, and she is the one who hosts the Met Gala, and she is the one who literally hand picks or hand invites who will attend the gala that year. So it is a big deal because you are invited and then you basically pay for your ticket when you are invited. And we'll get to that later, the fact that celebrities pay to go to this gala and how much they pay, because it is obscene. So anyway, Hailey in her apology video clarifies that she was not invited by Anna Wintour, that she was invited by E!, the entertainment magazine. And so they invited her to basically kind of make content where she would catch celebrities on their way to the Met Gala. So she was stationed a couple blocks away from the actual Met Gala, and it was down this avenue, this path that a lot of celebrities would walk down in order to get to the gala. So her job was basically to kind of catch celebrities on the way to the gala, interview them, make content with them, stuff like that. And then the celebrities would go on their way to the gala and she would stay behind and wait for the next celebrity to interview. So she talks about this in her apology video, and she talks about the fact that after her part was over, once she got all of the content that she needed to get, she had to go home and actually watch the rest of the Met Gala on her sofa, on her TV, just like the rest of us poor average people who were not deemed worthy enough to attend. And I think it's funny that she only admitted that, and maybe she was going to, I don't know, but she only admitted that after she landed herself in hot water for being at the gala, because up until then, all of her content, the way she filmed it, the way she staged it, the way she went about it, made it seem like she was going to go to the gala. So I find it interesting that she didn't want to admit that she wasn't actually attending the gala until her presence there landed her in hot water. So I'm going to break down that for you now too. So basically, she made a bunch of content while she was at the gala, you know, being a good little influencer and doing her job. And one piece of content that she made was she was dressed head to toe in this beautiful, like, handmade gown by one of her friends that she has connections with. He made her this beautiful custom one-of-a-kind gown in the style of Marie Antoinette, which I think is interesting because the theme for the Met Gala was like the Garden of Time, and I'm not really sure how Marie Antoinette fits into that theme. I mean, yeah, I'm just not quite sure. So anyway, I feel like she was off theme. And then not only that, but the viral trend that she decided to copy was a soundbite from Sofia Coppola's movie Marie Antoinette, which is a gorgeous movie. I love it. I love the costumes. I love just kind of like the style of how it's filmed. It's probably one of my favorite movies because it's just so beautiful to look at. But Kirsten Dunst plays Marie Antoinette, and of course they get to the infamous scene where Marie Antoinette is criticized for saying, "Let them eat cake."
Sending troops to America is costing more than what we estimated.
But we can't let England win. We must show our strength.
We will continue aid to the Americans.
And when they went to the Queen to tell her her subject had no bread, do you know what she said?
Let them eat cake.
So that soundbite of Kirsten Dunst as Marie Antoinette saying "let them eat cake" became a viral sound that a lot of people were using for, you know, their transition TikToks, which I also think is dumb. I think a lot of TikTok culture is dumb, or trends or whatever, but people were using it, you know, for those like transition trends where they would start out looking plain Jane and then they would all of a sudden appear very dressed up and glamorous and beautiful. So a lot of people were using that soundbite, the "let them eat cake" soundbite, with those transition videos. Hailey, being the good influencer that she is of course on top of these trends. And so she knows that the sound is going viral. She knows that all of these like Marie Antoinette inspired looks are going viral for this kind of transition content. So she decides to use that sound in this video, and I'll just go ahead and upload the video here so you can see what I'm talking about.
Let them eat cake.
Here, take the bomb.
And so she lands herself in hot water with this video and the soundbite because many people already feel like we are living in the Hunger Games. A lot of people already feel like the rich are just getting richer while the middle class is pretty much dissolving. A lot of people are having to choose between buying certain necessities like buying groceries or buying gas for the week. A lot of parents are going without food so that they can afford more groceries and food for their children. People all around the world are dying of hunger still. People in third world countries are dying of very curable, very treatable illnesses, but because they don't have the money and the infrastructure, sadly, a lot of lives are being lost. And, you know, don't even get me started on the conflict in the Middle East and all of the genocide and death and destruction that is happening there. So her video was not received well at all. And her apology video was also not received well at all, because in it, she basically tries to make people feel sorry for the fact that she wasn't invited to the Met Gala, and she tried to really hone in on the fact that she wasn't invited, she didn't pay a ticket, she didn't pay that exorbitant amount of money to attend. Oh, because that's another thing I forgot to mention. So in order to attend the gala, after you are hand-chosen by Anna Wintour, you have to pay $75,000. For most average Americans, that's like not even a year's worth of salary. When I had a normal 9-to-5 job, I definitely wasn't making anywhere close to $75K. I was making more like $40K. So for many, many average Americans, this is way above our salary, yearly salary. And yet celebrities are dropping what most Americans can't even make in a year on one night, one ticket, one event. And so even though Haley in her video tries to make it very clear that she didn't pay that ticket and she wasn't invited and she just had to go home and sit on the sofa and watch it like everyone else, like all of us poor like normies out here, it still just came across as very tone deaf to me, and I'm sure many other people, which is why she is kind of fallen out of the good graces of the internet, because she still was very much tone deaf by her choice of costume, right? Choosing to dress up in a very Marie Antoinette inspired look, and by using the "let them eat cake" soundbite, which again was famously said by Marie Antoinette as kind of a tone deaf, out of touch response when her advisors informed her that her citizens could not eat. And she famously actually did not say "let them eat cake." She said "let them eat brioche." Brioche is a type of bread that's very like sugary and custardy and almost cake-like. So it's not exactly cake, but the point still stands the same, right? They basically said, oh, your citizens can't afford to eat, they can't afford bread. And Marie Antoinette very flippantly replies, well, if they can't eat bread, let them eat brioche. Let them eat cake, essentially. And we all know that, right? We all know where that quote is from. And Marie Antoinette is still reviled to this day for saying that. And so for this, influencer that prides herself on being relatable and that so many people applaud for being relatable is so out of touch and non-relatable that she didn't stop and think how her choice of the Marie Antoinette soundbite combined with her Marie Antoinette inspired look would come across to people, especially again when people are experiencing food insecurity across America, when there is a dissolving middle class, when Gen Z and Gen Alpha are afraid that they're no longer going to be able to afford homes, when millennials can barely afford homes, when people are having to choose between gas or groceries. She didn't stop and think and check in with her millions of viewers to see what people are going through. And this brings me to kind of my final thoughts here about like celebrity culture and celebrity worship and why we need to stop doing it. The first thing is, I don't understand how, again, so many celebrities have gotten famous. Even Haley, like, again, people applaud her for being so relatable, but all she does is literally just regurgitate all of the trends that are coming through TikTok. I mean, again, that's why she said she chose that soundbite and chose that Marie Antoinette inspired look, because she knew both the soundbite and that kind of look were trending. She knows what she's doing. She's an influencer. This is her full-time job, so she has to be good at it, especially if she wants to keep the large amount of followers that she has. But y'all, maybe it's just me, maybe because I'm too old. I mean, I think Haley and I are probably like the same age, but I just don't find a lot of her content funny. Like, I think it's again, it's just the same trend that I've seen 50 other people do on TikTok. I haven't really seen a lot of original content from her, and I would like to see more original content from her. I mean, not anymore, obviously, but in general, I would just like to see more original content from celebrities instead of the same trends just regurgitated over and over and over and over. I mean, I don't get how so many people on TikTok are famous for just doing that, just recreating trends. And I mean, I get it, like most of them are, you know, famous because they're hot or they're cute or they're gorgeous. And, you know, I'm sure that's a big factor in why Hailey got so popular, is because she's literally one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. And I'll still keep saying that because it's true. And I don't want to seem like I'm just like a complete hater. I'm just a little bit of a hater, but I can recognize beauty when I see it. Anyway, we need to stop making celebrities famous for low quality work or for repeating the same trends over and over and over and over again. I think if celebrities are going to be famous, we need to hold them to a higher standard, and I think the content they need to make needs to be worth it. I think far too many celebrities get famous off of doing absolutely nothing, like the whole Kardashian Jenner clan. I mean, even Lizzo, back to Lizzo. So I loved Lizzo's first album, like many of us did, right? Loved her music, related to a lot of it. But then her second album comes out, and I kid you not, I'll scroll through Spotify to remind y'all, but literally every single song on that album is like under 3 minutes or just at 3 minutes. Like, how are you going to make a follow-up album to your hit album and literally every single song is only like 2.5 to 3 minutes? That is so low effort as a musician that it's not even funny. And Lizzo has like the world of music at her fingertips, right? She used to work with Prince. Like, she has the best producers, best songwriters, best vocal coaches, best backup singers, best backup dancers. Like, the world is her oyster when it comes to music. She could produce such high quality music, and yet she wants to produce a whole album where each song is only 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes long. And I'm not saying this to like hate on her music. I'm saying this to drive home the point of like, why do we allow celebrities to become famous for literally doing the bare minimum when it comes to their craft? And then yet artists and musicians who spend way more time and effort producing their music, who make long, beautiful albums, who make cool concept albums, who are making such unique sounds, they are not getting the recognition and attention that they deserve. And that's one reason why I'm thankful for TikTok, because I feel like it still allows like up and coming artists to have a voice and to showcase their talent and to showcase just how unique they are compared to all of the people that have gone viral by doing far less unique things. But yeah, I don't understand why we let celebrities get away with it. You know, why we let them get away with being famous for doing the bare minimum, or being famous for just being beautiful, just being hot, or being famous just by making low quality content for whatever their craft is, right? Whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's fashion, whether it's entertainment, whether it's comedy. Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of people blowing up and becoming famous all for nothing. And so that kind of brings me to my last thought here, which is that I'm really glad that this whole Blackout 2024, Project Blackout, whatever you want to call it, is happening. And again, if you're not really familiar with what that is or how that has been implemented, it basically is this movement where people are unfollowing celebrities in droves or blocking celebrities. So you may be wondering, how does blocking celebrities help with anything? And should I block celebrities even if I'm not following them? Yes, I do not follow a lot of celebrities, but I've spent the better part of this morning blocking a lot of celebrities. And when you block celebrities on whatever social media platform, that means their content will no longer be served to you. You will no longer get ads about their products, right? Because we know so many celebrities are trying to shill something, right? They all have their own clothing line, makeup line, whatever line. So if you block a celebrity, you will no longer see their content. You will no longer receive ads related to them or their products or anything like that, because the algorithm rewards content that is engaged with, right? We all know this. So the more you interact with a creator, the more you interact with a celebrity, the more of their content is going to be pushed out, even if you personally don't interact with them. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has had random celebrities pop up on my, Insta feed or my YouTube feed or my TikTok feed. And I'm like, wait, I don't even interact with this person. I don't follow this person. I don't even particularly like this celebrity. Why am I seeing their content? But it's because so many other people are engaging with their content that the algorithm thinks, oh, everyone likes this content. Everyone wants to engage this content. So we're going to push it out to more and more people. So that's why you'll have random celebrities pop up on your social media feeds that you may not have even been following or interacting with. So if you block them, their content will not be pushed out to you at all. If you block their brands, you will no longer get ads for their brands. So they won't get the ad revenue from you watching that ad. And they obviously definitely won't get the revenue from you going and buying one of their products if their advertising works and it draws you in and makes you buy something of theirs. So basically, if you block them, it's just kind of like hitting the mute button and silencing all of their voices. And I think that's another important aspect of this, Blackout 2024 movement, is because when you are silencing the voices of big celebrities, you are making room for other voices to be amplified. And I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want to hear from celebrities anymore. I could have lived my entire life without hearing Kim Kardashian telling me that the problem with today's society is not enough people want to get off their ass and work.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work. Have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do, because you have one life. No toxic work environments, and show up and do the work.
I don't know about you, but just off the top of my head, that's something from a celebrity that I could have lived my entire life without hearing. So I'm personally done hearing from celebrities. And I want to hear more from real, average, ordinary people like you and me. I don't want to hear from Cindy Crawford reincarnated, who lives in a penthouse suite in Manhattan that she pays $20,000 a month for anymore. But that's just me. So I think that's one good aspect of this movement, and one very important aspect of it. It's that, again, it allows smaller creators and their voices to be heard, especially those that are overlooked and marginalized and downtrodden. I think we need to work harder as a society to amplify those voices and to hear more from our common man than from celebrities who are so out of touch that they wouldn't even know how to work a car wash looking at you, Kylie and Chris. I always confuse them, but you know what I mean? You know that scene that everyone thought was so cute when they were going through the car wash together? It wasn't cute to me, because that just shows me y'all are so out of touch that you haven't even worked a car wash before. Or that cute scene of Kendall trying to cut a cucumber. All that showed me was, again, the poor girl hasn't picked up a knife to cut her own food probably ever. And that's not something to be, you know, oohed and awed over and be like, oh, they're so cute. Look at them using a car wash for the first time. Or, oh, Kendall is so funny. Look at her trying to cut that cucumber. She's so quirky. No. These people are so out of touch that they do not know how to do the basic things that everyday average Americans do. So don't believe them when they tell you that they're just like us and when they try to be relatable. Even the best of them, like Haley, who are really good at it by showing how quirky and unique they are, don't fall for it. And so, yeah, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're kind of like, all right, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to participate in this project or movement. I really want to, but I don't know how to begin. Again, you can just start with blocking as many celebrities and their brands as you can. And if you don't know like who to start with, there are lists going around on TikTok of people who were invited to the Met Gala, for example. So you could start there. Or just start with any of the big ones, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, the whole, you know, Kardashian Jenner clan, like just start there. And then I'm sure more and more celebrities will pop into your mind that you can unfollow and block. And, you know, I've been seeing some pushback from people who say like, oh, it's so hard to unfollow this celebrity, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's so hard to block this celebrity, but I'm going to do it anyway. Respectfully, it should not be hard. Blocking celebrities should not be hard because they don't care about you. And I mean that with all peace and love and also seriousness. We are nothing to them. Even when they say things like, I couldn't be here without you guys. I'm so thankful for you guys. Yeah, you can't afford your $20K a month penthouse suite without us. So you bet you're thankful for us. You can't afford your Rolls Royce without us. You can't afford your Gucci products without us. You can't afford your mansions without us. So yeah, of course you're thankful. But do you want your money to go to funding someone's extravagantly wealthy lifestyle? I don't know about you, but I don't. I'm tired of my money going to line other people's pockets. And like everyone says, you can vote with your dollar, you can vote with your view, you can vote with who you follow or unfollow or block. So that is a great place to start. And again, there will be lists everywhere of people who have attended the Met Gala if you want to start there. And speaking of some other pushback that I got, I made a TikTok that ironically went viral on this topic, but because I compared the Met Gala to the Hunger Games and it went viral on my TikTok, which is funny because I literally only have like 42 subscribers on TikTok. But anyway, TikTok did its thing and this video 30-second clip I made went viral, and some comments I saw were giving pushback of like, well, hey, the Met Gala is actually a charity and the tickets that celebrities pay, like that money goes back to the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. It goes to keeping the MoMA running, you know, paying the rent, paying the utilities for that space. It goes to preserve all of the fashion pieces that celebrities are wearing, because many celebrities, of course, tend to wear pieces from vintage designers, right? So these dresses will be taken out of the vault and they'll be, you know, custom made to fit celebrities and stuff like that. So people are arguing like, well, it preserves the history of fashion, it preserves the MoMA so that people can continue to come to the MoMA and enjoy it. And I get that. I mean, art and culture is super important in society. I get that. But right now, it's kind of hard to care about preserving fashion and preserving all of these designer pieces when people are choosing between gas and groceries. It's really hard to care about art and a museum staying open when schools are being defunded and many children can't even have extracurricular activities like art and theater anymore because so much funding has been cut that so many students are just forced to only take the core curriculum classes, and that's it. They're not being exposed to art or theater or choir or band or cheer or all of these other really important extracurricular activities that teach kids, you know, creativity and team building and working together and the dedication of sitting down and learning and practicing an instrument, you know, like all of those important life skills that extracurriculars teach children are just being thrown by the wayside because so many schools are not being funded properly, and so many schools are also understaffed because teachers and admin aren't being paid appropriately. But yeah, just pretend that they don't exist, and I promise you that will get under their skin far more than engaging with them and leaving them hate comments. So these are ways as a society that we can do this. You know, these are small actionable things that we can do. Unfollowing celebrities, blocking celebrities, not engaging with their content, not watching their stuff on streaming services, or canceling your streaming services if you can manage that. Shopping small, shopping local, finding alternatives to celebrity-owned brands, and finding products that you enjoy rather than, you know, just letting celebrities do all the work of finding stuff for you and telling you what you should buy. So I hope that kind of leaves you with some hope and some perspective, because I know it can be really overwhelming, and I don't want to sound dramatic, but I feel like we're kind of in that day and age where just something needs to change. And I've been talking about this with my husband, where I feel like we as a society are just on the edge of a really interesting moment in time, because all of the people who have been running our country up until now, all of the celebrities who have been famous up until now, are going to kind of start falling to the wayside as they get older and kind of fall out of the public eye or retire or step down from offices. And younger people are going to start to take those positions. And I think us younger generations have a lot to say. And as cheesy as it sounds, I think that time is now for our generation. I think it's our time. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of add my voice to this movement, even though I'm just a very, very, very small creator. But I just wanted to add my voice to this movement and kind of break it down and explain it to you guys so that hopefully you can get behind this as well. And if you need some motivation or inspiration to keep going, there are also a lot of TikTok accounts that are literally like counting down like the followers that celebrities have. So if you feel like you're not making an impact, if you feel like, oh, I just unfollowed the celebrity, does it really matter that much? You can also check out those TikTok accounts where they have a counter that shows in real time celebrities, followers dropping off. And that can personally, for me, be really satisfying to see and affirm that like we are making a change. And if we band together, we can absolutely make a change. And they don't want us to believe that. They don't want us to remember that social media is ultimately for people to come together and connect over what we have in common. And instead they try to use it to just line their own pockets and carve out their own niche in this world. But I think so many celebrities need to be dethroned, as it were, because they have just had too much power for too long. I have heard from too many of them for far too long. And I think it's time to just hear more from the marginalized, the oppressed, the overlooked, and the average and the ordinary. That's who I want to hear from. That's the kind of content I want to see moving forward. I want to see real life. I want to hear real stories. I want to have a positive change in my community. And I hope to see a positive change in this world born out of this project. That's all I got for you today. I'll link again some more resources and books and articles that I think would be worthwhile to read. They'll be down in like the description box below. And if this resonates with you, please share this video. I know every influencer says that, but again, I kind of want to keep the momentum of this movement going. So if you know other people who could benefit from this breakdown, if you know other people who could benefit from this pep talk about sticking it to these celebrities, then please share this on your socials or with your friends or family or whoever, and let's turn the tide. Let's turn the tide and take back our power, because ultimately we do hold the power. These celebrities might have a lot of time and money and resource, but the one thing they can't control is their influence over us. And if we take that away by blocking them and by silencing them, then they will crumble. Yeah, man, I'm just so amped. I don't know why. I love like dystopian literature. I love it so much. Like I grew up reading 1984 and Fahrenheit 451 and The Hunger Games, and I've watched all the movies, and I feel like this is my time. Like I'm just so amped up. I am just so encouraged to see that people are coming together and deciding to make a positive change in this world. I feel like my hope and my faith in humanity has been restored, and I hope it has been for you. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I am tuning in from District 12. Let me know what district you're tuning in from. And I just wish you guys peace and love and power to the people. Bye, y'all.